occupy leadership positions, and also bring up developmental ideas in their circles, starting from the grassroots. So members of these organizations are voters, irrespective of your occupation, irrespective of your political ideology. So once you are a voter, you are a potential member of NILOV. So but we have a registered membership as of the last data we collated just before 2023 election. We had 105,000 members registered across Nigeria. We are in the 774 local governments because we are voters. We have a structure that cascades down from the national to the ward level in every local government, in every state, including the FCT.
All right. Now, we see that you guys are doing a lot with encouraging women to come out in their numbers to vote, and especially you're pushing for the participation of women and equal representation of women in the political seats in the House. How has that been for you so far?
Yeah, it's been a very tedious journey because it looks like every year or every cycle, we take 2 steps forward and then 10 steps backward. The major setback was after the 5 gender bills were thrown out by the 9th assembly. And first and foremost, it's a very interesting one this time around that we have a National Assembly that has pledged to stand by the Nigerian women. I don't want to talk about the how hurt it was that 5 bills were thrown out, but I want to talk about the beautiful things that are about to happen, and that we are calling also Nigerians to support. The leadership of the House of Representatives, the Deputy Speaker, Honorable Kalu, has magnanimously put forward a bill for 74 special seats for women. And earlier you said you have an issue with putting women as side by side with persons living with disability, but it's because we are all vulnerable people. We are people who has been marginalized for a long time. If you look at how long democracy has been in Nigeria, and then the level of representation and visibility of women in this and people with disability in this space, it's been a long journey. And the parity is so wide that having special seats is just the only way to bring the marginalized a little bit closer to the people who have been institutionalized as the owners of the space for this long. And so we are calling on Nigerians to support that bill. We as an organization is working tediously at the grassroots level with stakeholders to see that they get the buy-in of this bill. Why are we focused on the grassroots? That's where our numbers are. That's where the voters are. And that's where these people who are in National Assembly are being elected from. And so we are going to use our voter currency at that level to engage our representatives at that level. We are sensitizing the constituents to hold them accountable, to ask them, please, my House of Rep member, my senator, if you go back to Abuja, make sure you support that bill. So from that level, we are hoping that we will get significant improvement this time around, and sure, we'll be able to have the bill passed into law.
All right. I mean, it's actually a step in the right direction that you are very optimistic.
Exactly.
That this bill will actually, scale through the necessary, protocols or processes at the end of the day. But just to take you backward a little, backward a little, you talked about the 9th Assembly throwing out, 5 bills, and that was very heartbreaking, I guess, for you and your organization. But it just goes to tell you that there is an issue, all right, that may have warranted, that decision. And at this point in time, this is still a bill seeking to amend Section 49 of the 1999 Constitution. We are not sure, but we are hoping that this would also get the needed reception that it deserves, because indeed this is one conversation that has been ongoing for quite some time now. The need for women to be women's participation in politics and decision making. But I'd like you to speak to the perceived issue that has actually hindered our agenda over the years, and in such a way it has not given the public this somewhat wrong perception about, leadership strength from a woman?
Okay, I'll start from the Ninth Assembly where you started from. Yes, it was a heartbreaking scenario that happened actually on the 8th of March, the International Day for Women. Yes, because we had made our plans, we had done our groundwork. It was a long journey. It took over 3 years of engaging the National Assembly. The former First Lady was involved. A lot of technical work was put into that, advocacy and targeted advocacy, to be precise, because we felt we had engaged the right people. And we also had very strong he for she's in the National Assembly who supported those bills, who were co-sponsors, like the former Deputy Senate President, distinguished Senator Omo Agege, who was one of the people who co-sponsored those bills. But after that, we blocked the National Assembly. We staged a protest for 2 weeks. Yes, that was reactive because we were hurt. And we realized that we needed to go back to the drawing board and look at the things that we didn't do. And one of them is this that I've just mentioned. We discovered that the women on the street didn't even know what we were fighting for. Okay. We, the leaders of the women rights groups, they didn't even know how those bills were going to benefit them directly. So there was no buy-in from the grassroots. Yeah. And politicians, once they get into the National Assembly, they are working towards the next election, their re-election. And they didn't see that throwing out those bills could threaten their stands, because the grassroots was not involved. And so they did it with very so much confidence that nothing was going to happen to them. And then for us, when we went back and saw that this was what we didn't do right, and there's a whole lot of some other conversations that came up, that the bills were too many, there were 5, and then we should look at focusing on 1. So we thought of a lot of things. We also have another bill, not just the Deputy Speaker's bill. The Chairman House Committee on Women has also put forward the 111 bill, the special seats. We're hoping that by the time the 2 bills go to the committees for harmonization, we'll be able to have a stronger representation. So I would say that Nigeria is where she is today because of the long absence of women who are menders and principally core managers in leadership. I'll give you a very simple scenario. When you are growing up in a home with your brother, the girl child from childhood is trained, is tutored to be a leader. She takes care of the home, the mom, irrespective of how old you are. You are made to understand that you're supposed to ensure that your brother feeds well, even if he's 10 years older than you. And you take charge of the home front. You're already stepping into your mother's shoe of the home manager. Sadly, and very ironically, after getting all those expertise of being a good manager, when she grows up and gets into, the society, she's being marginalized. She's being seen as she's not good enough to be a leader, as against someone who actually didn't learn, to be a leader. Most of them just maybe venture into the political space by holding hands with certain godfathers, and then they are just given the opportunities. So I say they are always at the right place at the right time. Wow. While we women have no opportunity to even get into that space to be identified. So to say that women don't have the capacity, it's not true. Okay. Because the few women who have represented the women folk in leadership position in Nigeria have shown capacity, have shown tenacity, and have delivered.
And amongst the few women, we have some bad eggs.
Yes.
Very few. very few, very negligible percentage.
Oh, okay.
Yes, vice versa what we get from the men.
Okay,
and
that's
when it happens to a woman, it's news. Just like, okay, a man eats a dog, but bites a dog. But when it's a man, it's like a dog bites a man. So it's no news. It's like they are permitted to be bad eggs because they are men.
Right. Okay, so just so that we know, we have been hanging out with the president of the League of Women Voters of Nigeria, NILOV, right? And her name is Honorable Irene Awuna Ikie. Yes, thank you so much for being here with us. Now, it takes us to our next question. This particular bill that is being about to be deliberated on by the House, don't you think that there are also some level of restrictions from that end? Because again, if I keep this food or this water and I say that out of all the meals we have, okay, let's go back to the Garden of Eden. There are many trees, there are many fruits. Right. Out of all the trees and all the fruits, you say this is the only one you should eat, as opposed to what happened there. This is the only one that a woman should eat, right? So regardless of the fact that there are lots of opportunities in the field, lots of meals that the woman can eat, and you limit her to just that meal, don't you think there's a problem there? Because again, we might rejoice over this seat and say it's a win for the woman, because as opposed to what was obtainable before, women cannot vie for these positions. They don't even get recognized politically and what have you. So yes, we want to celebrate the 74 seats that are being given to the women and people with disabilities. Don't you think that also places a restraint on the woman? Because they can now label the 74 seats and say these are the only positions that you would ever be able to occupy. Meanwhile, there's a presidential seat that a woman somewhere is vying to occupy. There's a ministerial seat that a woman somewhere is vying to occupy. But if the Constitution and the bill has already limited her to all of those 74 seats, don't you think that it's a problem we're looking at subsequently?
Okay, thank you for bringing that up. That's sort of playing the devil's advocate, which is a conversation that has come up several, but that's a misconception. Okay. That's not what the bill is all about. All right. The bill is not restricting the women to the 74 seats, and for information purposes, that's it's going to take place for only 4 circle elections. Okay. It's just opening up the space for more women to come in, so that they will now build enough social and political capital to engage. Okay. This 74 seats doesn't mean that women will not contest in the other seats. All right. Okay. So women are still going to be open, especially those who are already in the space, are still open to recontest their seats, and even more that feel that no, I have the political capital, I don't need to go to the special seats. I can dig it out there, with the men. They are free to do so. So the bill does not restrict them to the 74 seats, and we continuously are talking about this, so that stakeholders and indeed political parties who are actually the reason why women don't come into leadership positions, because I was going to talk about that.
Political parties,
the reason. Because at the political structure, when I say political structure, I mean the leadership of the political parties from the national to the world level. The people who determine who is on the ballot in their political parties are being voted in by those people who are within their political parties. And these people in that structure from the world level, you have 15 people minimum, depending on the political party, 15 people at the world level. And then also as executive, only one person that is a woman leader. At most, they will make another woman ex officio. The only people who have the voting rights at in those 15 people are just 5 people. And in those 5 people, only the woman leader. So they are already marginalized at that level. From that level to then at the national, they tell you, some parties say our NWC have 10 women. Okay, how many of them can vote or have voting rights? Then where the numbers are, it's even at the ward and local government level, So you don't seem to see women on the ballot, especially the big political parties. You don't seem to see women at the ballot. You can look at what is happening across the country in the local government elections. It's very, very disheartening and very shameful. Some states, they turn out all men local government chairmen, and it's in this age and time, because if you look at the statistics, Nigeria is not there. Even in Africa, the 5 top in female representation, Nigeria is not there.
Okay. And this struggle is not just, I'm sorry, but and this struggle is not just about Nigeria, like what she said. There's a particular senator we all know, she's famous for screaming in the house. You know, that one that say you must be a bad girl to be contest your seats. You know, I think she's from the Gambia or something of that sort.
Is it Gambia?
No, I don't think it's South Africa, but we see her.
She's actually from one of these African
countries. You must have seen her somewhere.
Yes.
You know, she's very dramatic in the house. She's very vocal about how for you to get into a seat as a woman and still be able to retain that seat, you must exert some level of doggedness. And I also was listening to an interview with Chimamanda Adichie, and she says that, you know, women are not allowed to be normal when they want to do the things that men do normally. So for a woman to be a politician, a successful politician, she really cannot be normal. She has to do something that is abstract, and before she really is, you know, have gotten that recognition. And thanks to Nyla for all of these things that you're doing to ensure that women come up eventually, because who knows, I might have a political ambition, and if we have all of these things down there, it might be difficult for someone to be able to indicate that interest, you know, publicly.
Thank you very much, Martha. I actually agree with you to an extent that there is indeed a great need for political parties, you know, to be more accommodating in terms of also availing women the same opportunities, you know, that men also get, you know, within the political party, just to let the whole country, generally know that women also possess same potentials as men, if not even more, in terms of leadership qualities. However, I asked you this question earlier. I think you somehow tried to dodge it. Okay. There is an issue, whether we like it or not. And I think we must not shy away from it, especially for the fact that we are all women in the studios. Women are the enemies of themselves. And that perception or that belief has not been it's not like, how will I put it, an express ticket for the men
to use marginalize the women.
To use against the women. How would you react to that?
First and foremost, I've heard that severally, and I'm sure I actually lost track to respond to that. I like to respond to it because I know it's lies.
How do you mean?
Yes, it's just a joker that has been used, to brainwash the women for not supporting themselves. So let me ask this question: when you have a man contesting for election, is it all the men that vote for the person? No. So you don't expect that every woman should support a female candidate because she is a woman. That's not enough.
No, but in a country where we feel like there is no fair representation, I think that should be the norm.
Politically, it's not possible because we have the freedom to choose, especially when we are talking about people who have strong political ideologies. You understand? Now, when we come to the conversation about having more women in the political space, then we can now speak to the sensitivity of women.
Amen.
But politically, you can't use that to blackmail another woman. Do you understand? We have heard women, for instance, distinguished Senator Ireti have retreated severally that women supported her, that she has never had women antagonizing her. And that obviously men are the ones that are always going for her head. You understand? So they have sold that to women who do not even understand, this space. And they bought it, and they are always coming. Women are not. If you look at the market women organizations, for instance,
solid.
Across the country, in every remote village, that organization is very strong, collected, and have ground rules that if you disobey, you will be expelled. And they don't joke with it. Exactly. Those women choose their leaders. Nobody come there to choose their leaders for them. Do you understand? This is what we are saying. Even in the political space, if you want good women who have the capacity and the tenacity, ask women. Politicians impose women who speak to their nerves and egos on us. Those who they know they can remote control, who don't have the capacity, so they hold it against them. When you come in, for instance, if you come into a leadership position with a doctored CV, that's something they can always hold you on. Yeah, and then they use it to manipulate you. If you see women who have the capacity and tenacity within the political space, the men don't like to see their face. They always call a stubborn woman. That woman, she's a fighter. I don't want to see her.
Do you think that is the case, or was the case with the
Minister of Women?
Natasha
Akpoti. She's one person that has been called that many times.
She's been tagged stubborn.
Even irritating BS. I saw one time when she was having an altercation with the FCT minister, and she was very firm about what she was saying, and he was like, you don't even know what you're saying. And I do agree with what she's saying. If you bring a feeble person and you want to impose that person's ability on the entire gender, I don't think it's a fair thing to do. There's a Natasha out there, there's an Ireti out there who can vie for these positions and win and be able to perform effectively in these positions. But will they be allowed, the ones who actually have the abilities to run and work in these offices, will they be allowed to occupy these offices? Because this is the major problem. The people who know how to do it. And again, we know that we encourage as much as possible that we practice a politics of fairness, where it's not because of my gender. Because I personally will not vote a woman who is incompetent. So if you are presenting a candidate that is incompetent to me, right, it's natural for me not to vote that woman. But it is interpreted as women do not support women, because they know the truth and they obviously will go for the truth. This candidate is incompetent. There's no need for us to, give that support to our women. So yes, maybe if more competent women are brought out, more competent women are highlighted and are given the spotlight to be able to, carry out these responsibilities, just maybe we will have the narrative changed from every quarters. But yes, we're still on right here, ladies and gentlemen. It's Eagles 102.3 FM, and it is your radio experience you can count on. We have been hanging out with the president of NILOV, Honorable Irene Anua Ikie. I didn't get it. Awuna. Oh, I'm so sorry. Honorable Irene Awuna. One of those spellings where they don't look like how they sound. That's what this name is. It doesn't look how it sounds or how it's supposed to be pronounced. But yes, it's Honorable Irene Awuna Ikie. And thank you so much, Ma, for joining us in the studio.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, we'll be heading out for a bit, and when we get back, we'll keep up this conversation. You can already tell how excited I am having this conversation. So keep it locked in, guys. We will be right back.
Playing the best music from yesterday, today, and tomorrow. This is 102. Eagles 102.3.
Abuja and its environs, but don't know how to go about it? Eagles FM got you covered. Call us today and let's help you fix that event that will leave you with evergreen memories. Call 081 57 91 7278. I take it again, 081 57 91 7278. Thank you.
About to experience eargasm. On the Eagles 102.3 FM.
Are you looking looking for an internet service that will make surfing on the internet an enjoyable one? Do you want a super fast connection to the internet? Look no further, as Eagles Internet Services is here for you, an effective internet service provider with 99% proven reliability for residential and office services. We provide unlimited internet bandwidth services of different bundles tailored to meet your desires and taste. It is reliable, affordable, with a wide coverage. You can locate them at Plot 1719 Cadastral Zone B, Kaura District, or you can call 081 33 12 1423 081 33 12 1423. Eagles Internet Service. Stay connected to everything you love.
Tap in and turn it up.
All day. This is Beyonce.
Hey, it's Lil Nas X.
Hi, I'm Harry Styles.
Yeah, this is Burna Boy.
Playing the artists you love.
Eagles 102.3.
All right, people, welcome again, and thanks for staying tuned. It's Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja, and it is your radio experience you can count on. Yes, we are about 19 minutes until we wrap it up here in the studio. And of course, we are on the Abuja Now segment, where we get to talk about the city of Abuja. Now, most famous for today's conversation would be the seat reservations that are being made for the woman and persons with disability. 74 seats still being deliberated on. We'll see at the end of the day how that turns out or how that pans out. Now, alongside with myself and Efe, we have the president of NILOV, and NILOV is the League of Women Voters of Nigeria, and her name is Honorable Irene Awuna Ikie, and together we have been having this conversation. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation, ma'am.
Thank you for having me once again.
All right. Now, let's talk about what NILOV's structure is for this entire bill that is about being passed, because I know that when we have these structures, they want women from this circle, or women who understand what NILOV's operational policies are, to be projected. So what structures do you have in place to liaise with the House to ensure that credible women, because remember, before we went on this break, we talked about the fact that, you know, most women who are incapable of filling up these seats are the ones being projected, or women who cannot do the job. So what would you do in your capacity? I know you're not politicians, you are voters. What would you do to ensure that the right people are being projected to fill up these positions?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. NILOV is actually 27 years in Nigeria.
Wow. And
that is to say that we have women who have so much capacity. Mm-hmm. We have women who have been in the space. NILOV has 16 standing committees. Mm-hmm. And we have a special committee that deals with such issues. The committee is called Legislative Advocacy Committee.
Okay.
For the past 10 years, that committee have been led by Senator Omo.
Okay.
I don't think she's in the Senate right now as we speak, but she was in the 9th assembly. And then we have a former Speaker of Edo State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Ativie Elizabeth.
Okay.
We have a former House of Rep member from Benue, Honorable Mato, and the likes of Senator Binta Garba.
Okay.
These are women who have been in that space. They know what lobbying for bills are.
Okay.
So they've been working tirelessly, putting together our. We have submitted 2 documents already, and we are also seeing to the fact that we mobilize properly for the public hearing.
Okay.
So, aside what we're doing at the grassroots, this is the strategic, technical aspects of our engagement for these bills. Now, within NILOV, we also have people who are politicians.
Okay.
Yes. The only place you can find politicians in NILOV is the leadership, because we have to truly be apolitical to be able to push women who contest on any political platform, because a political party is woman.
Okay.
So we have women who are politicians in NILOV who we know how much they have contributed to their various communities and their political parties. We work hand in hand also with the National Women Leaders Forum. We also know within their political space, when we have issues within political parties on how they marginalize women, even with this last local government elections, we reached out to their national women leaders to weigh in and ensure that they protect those women within their political parties. We engage also with other civil society organizations of like ideologies. We have various coalitions that will also work to ensure that we put up the right women, support the right women. So when they say, where are the women? We say, don't worry, just pass the bill first. You will see the women. There's a lot happening on the ground as to preparing the right women, some who were there, who we are still going to offer them the opportunity to go back. And we are going to do a lot of mobilization and galvanizing of support for women, because we see that when we leave a woman alone, especially during the campaigns, she struggles because our campaigns are highly, monitorized, especially the fact that most of these political parties, they depend on the candidates to fund their political parties. But that's actually something that we are also looking at to see if there's going to be a way that government can set aside certain funds to support political parties so that they will not drain, candidates and aspirants, because that's what actually something that
Filters
also, filters
who,
the people that, gets to the top. In Nigeria, we know that, and that's why NILO focuses on the economic empowerment of women. Yeah, because when you have money, they say money does not answer to nonsense, Abi. When you have money and you enter into a room, the conversation changes. When you come to the table, apart from capacity, if you put down resources, even men who think that they are men, they will start, respecting the fact that somebody is in the room who they can listen to. So we are trying to see that also the regulations about how much money should be spent in campaigns should also be reduced. In fact, that is one of the critical conversations that we want to have at our national AGM that is coming up soon.
Yes, that brings me to my next question. I heard that your general meeting is coming up pretty soon, and this particular bill is one of the agendas for that meeting.
Main agenda. Strategies, the strategies for the next 1 year will be discussed to ensure that every leaguer going back to her state would hit the ground running for 2027. We are expecting up to 1,002 delegates across the country, because we cannot have everybody in Abuja. So it's a delegated convention, but every local government is going to be represented.
Is it open to the general public? Is it open to women who want to, or is strictly for NILO women?
No, the opening ceremony is open to the general public, stakeholders and development partners, which is on the 6th of November, at the Women's Center, the Mariam Babangida Women's Center, opposite the CBN at the Center Business District. However, other meetings are strategy meetings, which are going to start from the fourth evening, 5th, and then post-conference. We'll have our communique out to the public.
So it's an exclusive event, but I shall be there. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I think this will bring us to the end of this conversation today. Now, anything you want to say to the women out there, because it's easy for our agenda to get overwhelmed by the issues, and most times the reason you see them, take the back seat is because of the challenges that we face in the political scene. What advice would you have to the young girl out there who is veering to occupy any political position?
Yes, first and foremost, I want to say, especially to those women who went in, because I told someone 2 days ago that if you are a woman and you sold your own plot of land to go and contest election, and they beat you blue black after they collected your money, you will run away and not enter that space again. But I want to encourage them to come back. It's time. The time is woman, and woman is the future. For the young girls, because NILOV, it's a hand-holding organization. We have the Youth Development Committee, and we do strategic engagement with our youth, targeted programs that build their capacity and ensure that irrespective, once you are 18, that's when you join NILOV, irrespective of where you are, you should be active. If you are a student, be active in student union. You have to be somebody who can hold leadership accountable, somebody who is interested in what is happening and how those things are going about. So young girls, open up the space. Join NILOV, by the way, because NILOV, I tell people that if you get into trouble, NILOV will not let you alone. NILOV will always be there for you.
All right. Yeah, I know Matt already said that the conversation is about to come to an end, but I really would not forgive myself if I don't ask you this, because it's very important. It's actually bothering my mind.
Please.
Do you also give financial support to these women that you go sensitize?
Yes.
Almost on a daily basis, or is just, having conversations with them?
Yes, we don't give direct financial support because we have the idea that we don't give you the fish. We teach you how to fish. So we have various programs down to the level that empower women. We have a partnership with NDE, the National Directorate for Employment. That partnership has lasted for close to 4 years now. And thank you to the Minister of State for Labor, Right Honorable Nkiru Onyejocha, who also supported us by agreeing that we can request for more percentage, So at every state level, any program of NDA, NILOV has a certain percentage. Because once they give that to us, the other percentage, if they don't even give to women, they say, we gave NILOV, so NILOV is women,
For the selection process to arrive at that percentage, hope it is not biased.
No, the percentage is the same across the country. But when it comes to NILOV, we now look at communities, the most vulnerable empowerment and opportunities, then we allocate them. And we ensure that it's spread across.
All right. Thank you so much again. If you're just joining us on the show, we've been having such an amazing time on radio, and we have been hanging out with the president of NILOV, and she is Honorable Irene Awuna Ikie. Thank you so much again for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I definitely had a very wonderful time with you, ladies.
Thank you so much. And thank you to my girl, Omo Efe, for joining me on this one today. Right, guys, sit there and think about touching that dial. The next hour promises to be quite amazing as well. This is Martha, never forget that name, and
Efe.
We will be right back.